Good morning. Today is Wednesday, April 29th, and I'm going to start with our math lesson. Today we are going to add the number 1 to a number to find the number that comes next. So I'm going to pull up our math page that we'll do together, and we'll take a look at it. All right, so here we have our first problem, and it says, follow the instructions to color the 5 group. Then fill in the number sentence or number bonds to match. So it's what we've been doing. We're gonna look at what we have and find part, whole. So we can write it in our number bond and in our equation. The first part says, color 9 squares green and 1 square blue. So I need you to get a green crayon, and you're going to color 9 squares green. So let's count together. We're gonna have 1, oh, I thought I had my green crayon on, let's see. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Did you color your 9 squares green? If you need more time, pause the video so you can color all 9 squares green. And then it says we need to color 1 square blue. So now you need to get out a blue crayon, and we are going to color 1 square blue. Now, go back to your regular pencil, and we're going to write the equation. That's the number sentence. So we started with how many squares? 9, good. So you're gonna write 9 because we started, oh dear. Let's try this again. We started with 9. And then we added how many more squares? How many did we color blue? Good, 1. When we take 9 and we add 1 more, what's our new number? We'll count them all together. So you're going to start counting with the very first green square. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So we had 9 green squares, and then we colored 1 more blue, and all together we had 10 squares. Now we're going to put this in our number bond. Remember, every time we see number bonds, we think part, whole. And our whole number is always the biggest number that we see. So we see 3 numbers, a 9 right here, a 1, and a 10. What's the big number? 10, good. So that's gonna be our whole number. Oh, you know what? We did not label our number bond yet. Remember, the whole number is always the circle that's by itself. You put your little W next to it to show that it's the whole number, which means our others are the parts. Okay, we already did that. So our big number is 10. Where is it gonna go? I hope you said by the W. 10 is the big number, so it is our whole number. Then we break it into parts. So if we had 10 squares, 9 of them are green, and 1 of them is blue. Part, whole. Good. Now the next problem says, color 8 squares green and 1 square blue. So I'm gonna go back and get my green crayon. We're gonna start by, it says color 8 squares green. So color those 8 squares. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We colored 8 squares green and 1 square blue. So, oh, you need to go back and get that blue crayon to color 1 square blue. If you need more time, go ahead and you can pause or stop the video to get more time on that. All right, it says color 8 squares green. So that was our first number. What number did we start with? 8. So go ahead, get your regular pencil back out and write the number 8. So we started with 8 green squares, but then we added and colored one more square. So go ahead and write that 1. You can see that right over in your squares. You have 8 green squares and 1 blue square. How many squares do you have all together? Remember, when we add, we take 2 numbers and put them together to make one big number. So let's go ahead and count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And on this one, we don't need to do a number bond. We just leave it right as it is. Next question says, color 7 squares green and 1 square blue. So you're going to go back to the top. Get your crayon out. You need green. We're going to start with coloring 7 squares green. Once you get your green crayon, you can start coloring. You have to count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Color 7 squares green and 1 square blue. So you're going to get your blue crayon. And now we're ready to write our number sentence or equation. So the first part, we need to figure out how many we started with. So how many squares did we start out with that were green? 7. Get your pencil, write 7. You had 7 green squares, and how many blue squares did you add? Good, 1. You colored 1 blue square. So you had 7 green squares, then you colored 1 more blue square. How many squares do you have all together? Well, you need to count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 squares. Now this time we have to put it back in our number bond. So we're going to go ahead and find our part whole. You're going to find where the whole number is. Remember, it's the circle that sits all by himself. So go ahead and put a W next to that circle all by himself. And you can put P's next to the other circles to show your parts. And now we're ready for our numbers. The whole number is the big number. We have 3 numbers here. We see a 7, a 1, and an 8. Which is the biggest number? Good, I hope you said 8. If 8 is our big number, then our other parts must be 7 and 1. We know that's right because 7 green squares and 1 blue square made 8 squares all together. Good, we're going to keep going. This one says color 2 squares green and 1 square blue. So we have to go back to get our green. 2 squares green and 1 square blue. Two squares green and 1 square blue. So how many did we start with? 2. And how many did we add in? We colored 1 more. So how many squares do we have all together? 1, 2, 3. All right, now we need to put it into our number bond. So we have to find where the whole number goes. Which circle is all by himself? The one on the bottom here. And then we have our other 2 circles, which are the parts. So what is our whole number? What is the big number? 2, 1, or 3? This should be easy. Hope everybody knows that 3 is the biggest number. So if 3 is our big number, then 2 and 1 are the parts. Next one says color 1 square green and 1 square blue. That should be nice and easy. 1 square green and 1 square blue. Then you're going to go ahead and get your pencil. This one just wants you to add nice and easy. You start with how many you started with, which was 1 green square. Then we added 1 blue square. How many squares do we have all together? 2. That should have been pretty easy for you. Let's try a different one. Color 0 squares green. Ooh, that says color 0 squares. Do I need to take out my green crayon? Nope. If it says 0, there's nothing to color, so we don't want to get tricked. Let's go ahead and get our blue crayon, because it says color 0 squares green and 1 square blue. So I didn't color any squares green, but I need to do 1 that's blue. But 0 is still a number. So how many green squares do I have? 0. How many blue squares do I have? 1. Now, this one's going to be kind of tricky. How many squares are colored all together? So how many squares do you see colored? I hope you said 1. 0 plus 1 equals 1. So we're going to go ahead and put it in our number bonds. I need you to label the whole number, which is our big number. So remember, which circles by himself. Like this one. We're going to put our W there. The others will be our parts. Now, what's the biggest number? 0, 1, or 1? Well, we really only have 2 numbers, 0 or 1. And 1 is bigger than 0. Now, that doesn't mean we forget about the other one, because you just covered up the whole number. Now we need to put our parts in. So there were 0 green squares and 1 blue square. There was 1 all together. I want you to do the subtraction on the bottom. Now remember, we just did addition, where you add to get bigger numbers, but the bottom part wants you to subtract. So you're going to take the big number first and make it a smaller number. So you practice the subtraction all by yourself. And we will do more of this tomorrow. Bye, friends.